And I found a woman in my alumni database from my undergraduate school who said that she did tech support at Google. So I just called her. I called her up and I was like, "Hi, Hillary, I'm Johanna. I love Google. I want to work at Google. Can you help me?" And you know, she was kind of, I think she was, you know, a little cold to me initially, but then I just called her like weekly. I had it on my to-do list. I was call Hillary. And eventually she started to warm up to me. And then other companies were, you know, less challenging for me to break through the barriers of getting in. So I had gotten a couple of other job offers. So one day in my call to Hillary, I was like, "Hillary, I have 2 job offers. Is somebody at Google going to interview me?" And she was like, "Let me find out." So it took the persistence of harassing her, and then and also the work to get the other job offers. And so then she said, "Yes, they're going to interview you." And then it got even kind of crazier. They were going through this. They were trying to schedule my phone screen. So we were back and forth phone screen. And actually, I was getting pressure from the other companies to accept the jobs. And now I had this inkling of a hope that I might get a job at Google. And my phone screen wasn't getting scheduled, and I had all this pressure to say yes to another company. So I was like, "Listen, I'm going to be in Mountain View on Friday. Can I just come in for an interview?" And they're like, "Okay, sure." And then I like had to drive to Mountain View and have my interviews. And then the day of interviewing went well, and that's kind of what you will all learn about from your career services here. So the lesson there is you just got to work with what you got, right? So, and you got to really be tenacious. So maybe Google isn't the place for you, but if there's something else you really want, and you just got to go after it, and that's my advice.
In your innovation process, I'm curious, because most companies have a culture where an idea is presented and there's a devil's advocate approach, you know, like a poking holes in the idea, why challenging it. I'm curious that in your process, do you have more of an in encouraging people to share ideas? Because I found the devil's advocate sometimes holds people back. But is there more of an openness to inventing with an idea rather than just challenging it?
I think that we, you know, we have these broad principles that I've taken you through that I think are a big help. In terms of like the day-to-day process, I don't think we are as well defined as other places. So what it really comes down to the people and the hiring of great people. And so we have, you know, we have some people and some leaders who are very open-minded and encourage open-mindedness. And then we have a ton of cynics and naysayers, and I think it kind of all balances itself out. So I don't think ideas don't get poked at, but you do sometimes need to be the voice of like openness and saying like, "Hey, it's a brainstorm. There are no bad ideas. Let's keep not saying no." And I think that at Google, really, that comes down to the people rather than the process. Yeah?
Precisely on that note, it's the people rather than the process. Ideas come from everywhere. All this other stuff you've been saying, I find it extremely interesting that there's a threshold, and maybe it's just a game to get over it, but we only want Ivy League people. I mean, isn't that completely against the concept of ideas are everywhere? You know, especially in the recession. I mean, all kinds of people are going to less expensive schools, but does that mean they're not brilliant?
Well, I guess you know, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to really answer that, and I am more on your side. I think I fit less of the fancy Google profile, and I think that Google does hire from all. Google does hire from you know, a whole broad range of people. It's just, I think, a little bit more challenging, I would say. And so I don't think that the company is saying, no, we won't take somebody without an Ivy League degree, but I do think that they've kind of made a decision to go after and do more recruiting at Ivy League schools, and it's kind of
Plus, right, Stanford isn't even Ivy League.
Stanford. One more question?
I have a question about the product
Mhm.
and my kind of security. So you just showed that the computer knows you're in Santa Clara.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got a Newcomb laptop. I'm Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Until I put the Russian keyboard, whatever the feature, and I type and look for everything in English, it wouldn't suggest me anything in Russian. As soon as I put the keyboard and I switch to Russian, it gives me results like half of it Russian. Do I have ever privacy or whatever? How do you guys do it and how you pursue this? It's a serious problem.
Well, so it's interesting. I think you do have privacy, so we're not telling anybody else that you're typing in Russian. What we're
I know that. It's amazing. It's just recently I got a new computer and put the Russian Control C, whatever you do. I don't know. My husband does. Next day, even my sometimes website shows me it looks like it translates automatically. I know I didn't install anything. Didn't ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow you put your brain into wires that goes to my computer. And now
The Google website is translated into Russian?
anything.
Oh, all websites?
Yeah. But I guess
So that's not really, if it's all websites, it's not really us that have done it. It's the computer that's gone ahead and done it.
It started with Google. We do search in Google most.
Mm-hmm. But if in Google, if you do, if you input in Russian, and we're getting input in Russian,
I put input in English. And until I don't have this keyboard set up,
Mhm.
the second language, it shows me all results in English. As soon as I do, it shows me English. I had this with my personal, same with my job, because the job I work with Russia a lot and would have to write.
does this make your experience worse?
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It does, because you were talking about those 10 results,
Mm-hmm.
and half of them are in Russian, they're not
Mhm.
relevant.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't trust in certain things in my own country. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, just for some quick tech support, you should probably just there's this menu on the right here, it's called Settings,
Yeah.
and you can go in there, and you could set your preference to English, and it should go
That's what I
away.
had to do. But
Yeah.
the question is this kind of spy wire thing is also 20% of the project?
So actually what we're doing is we're probably taking input from your browser and your computer setup and ascribing it as a default, because we are a global service,
Yeah.
and we don't actually, I think it's kind of the opposite of how it seems, right? We actually don't know very much about you or really anything, so what we're just taking is what the computer has told us. So once you've installed these settings on your computer, Google looks and says, what are the settings on the computer, so that we can figure out how best to serve this person. And so I think it's actually us not really knowing anything rather than us knowing too much.
It's kind of, feedback.
Mhm.
Even my Gmail was all in Russian. I don't understand certain features in Russian because I learned them in English. And
Uh-huh.
they look funny to me. And I had to look for this button and switch to English only because, and I feel at the same time, it's kind of invasion in my, preferences.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay,
So I think we're running out of time. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.